Hello, my name is Wamboga Teridon. I'm happy to introduce to you Centers for Her, a mobile application that links girls and women who experience violence to the various support services, including sexual reproductive health services.
With the Centers for Her app, girls and women can now access free, fast and confidential post-violence services. These include emergency shelter, police stations, legal aid, counseling, toll-free helplines, health facilities, and services like HIV and AIDS post-exposure prophylaxis, emergency family planning pills if reported within 72 hours, treatment of STDs and other injuries, among others. Centers for Her app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store. To access any of the services, for example, police stations, tap on the categories option, choose police, select a station closest to your location. This will be represented by a black pin. You will then get directions to the center. Centers for Her is an app that women, girls, community leaders, and service providers can all use to refer survivors of violence to different service points.
Good afternoon, all viewers. Welcome back to S-Class, number S-Class social media show that runs on Facebook, YouTube, and also on different platforms, other different platforms of social media. And today on S-Class we are discussing about reopening of schools. Recently, the president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, came out and said schools should start on 15th of October. And 15th October it will be a Thursday, meaning they will start on 20th of October. And we are just asking ourselves, how will our brothers and sisters, the candidates, how will they be safe when it comes to COVID? Because COVID it's a global pandemic that it has affected different countries in Europe, Asia, and also Africa. Like every country has been affected by COVID. How sure are we that our brothers and sisters who are going to be going back to school on those dates that the president told us, how will they be safe from COVID? And also the teachers, how sure are we that the teachers are going to be safe? So on the panel today we have Vic Kahinju, a student, then we have Martha Namazi, also a student, then we have Mr. Wider, who is a teacher. So they are going to be telling us, or we are going to go deep digesting this discussion or digesting this topic, that how best can we make sure that our sisters and brothers who are going to be at school, the candidates, are going to be safe. Vicky and also Martha are students. Martha is a candidate, also Vicky is a candidate. So they're the ones who are going to go back to school, and Mr. Wider is one of the teachers who are going to be attending to these people or these candidates in different schools. So I will start with Mr. Wider. How is it going to be for you people to open schools in this pandemic? And how set are you when it comes to your side of education?
Yes, good afternoon our viewers. My name is Wider Ismail, like introduced as a teacher, despite the fact that I come in different personalities. But the opening of schools is something that is big. In most cases we have a word called sampling. And in sampling, they go ahead and pick out a certain group that are going to use as an experiment for the others. So the reopening of schools could be safe, theoretically, but the practicability is going to change depending on the schools. The SOPs are very many, as stipulated by the Minister of Health alongside the Ministry of Education and Sports. But the question of the day will be, will schools be in position to live to the billing and follow these so-called SOPs? Let's say each school is supposed to possess a temperature gun. Are the schools going to access all of them? That is another thing. Every school has to have a standby doctor. If you are to count the number of schools in the country and where they are located, do you think doctors will be able to be employed in those schools to be there 24/7? So that's why I go back to my word. The reopening of schools is good and it could be safe theoretically, but we need to sample and see. That is why they are beginning with candidates. We need to see, will it be safe for even the other learners to come in if the candidates at all become safe? So theoretically I'm saying it is safe, but practically it is yet to be seen.
Okay. So when it comes to Martha, you is a candidate and you are ready to go back to school, do you think that you guys have been set mentally and also emotionally to go back to school when it comes to reopening of school, which is beginning like very soon?
Me, I don't think so. Okay. Good afternoon, dear viewers. I'm Martha Namazi, a student and a candidate. Reopening of schools, we have not been set mentally because it has come as a what can I call it?
Like it's like an emergency, just came when you guys are not ready. Surprise?
It's a surprise, a shock. It is actually a shock because we didn't want schools to be open this year. I'm a candidate, yes.
You the candidate?
Yes, it may seem I'm unserious, but that's the truth. I'm not ready for the exams, though they are in April, but my mind is not settled.
Who said the exams are in April?
You name.
Okay, so you guys registered?
Not yet. We shall register when we go back.
Okay. Then when it comes to Vicky, you who is known, who is at a university level, how set are you guys to go back to school?
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Victoria Kehinju, a finalist. Actually, we are not yet ready, although we want to go back to school. We still have the fear that, you know what if we go, we meet these other fellow finalists like us, and so one of them has the virus, because remember, at campus we all stay in different homes, so we come from the community to the university. I don't think we are ready, but we want to finish, want to finalize, want to graduate, but concerning the pandemic, we have not yet put our mind out there, because the government keeps saying that the number of people every day is increasing, deaths are increasing. What if I go to university and I'm the next victim and I die and I have not yet graduated? And then also another thing is tuition. Most of us pay for ourselves. Most of us who are at campus pay for ourselves. So you look at it in this perspective of what is going to happen. Is the school going to reimburse our money, or we are going to repay? We have to like pay again, pay for the final semester. So we are all confused. We are just sitting back there and saying, maybe Museveni should tell us that, you know what, let's begin next year. Let us begin afresh when we have put our mind to it, because some of the university students haven't even put up their research to be marked. So we are confused. Generally, we are confused.
Do you think you would have first of all be consulted for the opening of schools?
Yes, I think the government would have first come down to the grassroots and asked us who are going to be used as lab rats, for example. That's what I would say, because they are putting us out there to be a sampling space. You know what? Let's test on these candidates. What if we die? We will be the bigger mass, and then the others will use us as an example. We will be recorded in the statistics that, you know what, candidates died last year because of COVID. Okay. So I think the government should sit back and ask both the teachers and the students.
Okay. Then when it comes to Martha, do you think the way you look at your school, the facility itself, the infrastructures, will you be able to manage the school itself? Will it be able to manage every candidate, to make sure that every candidate is safe from COVID?
Okay, on that point, the school may create those measures, but as students, those measures are not there. That is the truth. Because you see, during this time of COVID, I find my friend, we hug. He'll be like, hey, hi, long time too. Now imagine at school.
It's worse.
You go on hugging everyone. That hugging shit, hugging your souls everywhere. Then sharing stuff. No, at school you cannot depend on yourself alone.
Of course.
So you'd be like, let me share with this one. No, it is that you don't know if that person is infected, because that's symptomatic people are not actually.
Actually, the majority of our patients are symptomatic.
Yeah, and we come from different families. I don't know if your dad was infected and you got the disease and they didn't check you, and you're coming back to that one community at school. I don't think it's actually not necessary for us to go back.
Not necessary for you. You also feel like you would have been first of all consulted before opening the schools?
Yeah. They should have consulted maybe a student, all that. Maybe they should have consulted someone who understands children, most especially a mental person. Because now, me, I'm not even settled. Me, myself, I even have nightmares.
Because they're going back to school.
Eh?
Yes, Mr. Wider, you who is a teacher,
Yes.
like I believe you guys are always ready because you have your content with you. Like how is it going to be, like from the way you guys are set organized? Because I've seen different schools, they are sending out different circulars for students to go back with school. And how is this thing going to be practical when it comes to reality?
Like I said, we are still living in the theoretical part of it. We are yet to see something that is practical. Talking about, like she's saying, whenever I find my friend, we are going to hug, we are going to share a lot of things. We are now thinking of how things are going to be run when it comes to school. You get it? It all begins with, I want to re-echo something they talked about. They should have been consulted first. But I believe the Ministry of Education is a big kind of entity that I believe we have various students' organizations in Uganda. And I believe they may have spoken to them as stakeholders. But still, we need to look at this. If you're saying we are not ready for it, when will we be ready? That is one thing. Because it's like COVID is here to stay, and it's going nowhere. So the reason as to why I'm bringing it to the practical part is that let us see. Yes, let us be contented with the fact that, yes, in brackets you're being used as lab rats. Let us take it that way. But let us have this kind of belief. You're not going to die per se. But now you're asking me for the reality. There are a lot of things that are going to come along the way. Look at the number of students per school. You get it? We are talking about social distancing. We have schools that have very few students. Personally, I work in a school that has candidates that are over 700. Where is the social distancing here? If one school that is sending candidates is having over a number that is even bigger than a certain school that could be complete if all the learners were there. We are looking at the dormitories themselves. Will you do the social distancing in a dormitory? You as a teacher, are you going to be in a dormitory to monitor these SOPs? You get it? The other aspect is a teacher in class. Some of our classrooms may not be really ventilated per se. You are having a mask from morning to evening. We even have these young boys, young girls who cannot even go ahead and wash the masks. Someone is in one mask from Monday to... She has talked about sharing stuff. People are going to share masks.
That's true.
What is going to happen? So, we are just trying to test things, like the government is saying. But to be honest, the SOPs may not be followed in the virtual reality. They may not be followed. But we just have to try and pray for the best.
Then if you're saying the SOPs may not be followed by students or by the school itself, what is the best way? Or do we first need to, first of all, train these candidates on how to follow the SOPs, or we just need to, like you teachers or the heads of the school need to be serious when it comes to that? Like you bring out the other hand of being practical. You teach them, you tell them the person is supposed to wash your hands, you're not supposed to hug, you're not supposed to share this. Or you're just going to bring them, then you put them in the hall, brief them, then they go and start doing whatever you want to do.
Students have to be sensitized just like the adults. I remember telling friends that in this kind of situation, students are even safer at school than at home, where they are roaming all over the streets. Now they are back to school. You as the teachers, you are now parents to the kids. Obviously, you have to sit them down, caution them. It should not be one session. Let's say it's a class. Every after lesson, find time, talk about one SOP. Preach the gospel of COVID-19. You get it? You're not going to solve each and everything, but try. We should not stop trying. You get it? Remind them. We can have talking environments. An environment is trying to remind the girl, please go and wash your hands. Where did you leave your mask? Wash your mask. You get it? We cannot be 100% effective, but we need to try. You get it? Because we cannot wait for COVID to go away. You're going to have kids who are going to stay home for a whole year, and when they go back to school, they cannot even write using a pen. We have students who are saying, I've moved on in life.
Of course,
People have
those who
moved
placed the
on.
next
The
button.
COVID is like education is now like a love relationship. You get it? People have moved on in life. People are even getting married.
In this
I
COVID.
have students I cannot mention who are pregnant.
That's very true.
And as early as senior. So they have moved on in life. So we have to keep trying and hope for the best with God guiding us.
Okay. When it comes to Vicky, for the 6 months that you guys have been in lockdown, you have been not going to school. How do you want the school to equip itself? Which equipment do you want to find at school when it comes to fighting COVID? Because this is not going to be online learning. It's going to be like physical learning. You be in a class, then after you go back home. Because for you who are at university, you're not the same as these ones who are at primary or secondary level, whom they are saying that they are going to be in dormitories. For you guys are going to come from home. If you can't pay for the hostel, then you are supposed to come from home. What things do you want to find in place, or what things do you want the administration to put in place for you?
I think first the administration should ensure that the carry has the temperature gun. Then sanitize, of course. The sanitizers should be in place. The tanks where people should wash their hands from. And they have like to talk to the person that, you know what, they have to tell the person that you need to wash your hands before you come into the gate. And then maybe masks. The school also can try to provide the masks for some people, because someone may come to the gate where like putting on a handkerchief on their face, and they will tend to say that, me, I have no mask. So and they want to go and acquire knowledge from the class. So I think the school should also provide the masks, the sanitizers. Yeah, basically.
Okay. Then also, Martha, I would like to tell us if these schools open. I don't know if your school is a day school and also boarding school.
It's both.
It's both.
Yes.
If it's both, then how easy is it going to be for you to be with somebody who comes? Because I don't think every child is going to afford paying for accommodation at school. It's going to be quite hard for them. Like, from the way you see how things have been moving around, from the time you have been in school before the COVID pandemic, how easy was it for everyone not to associate with the other, from the borders, and also what separates the two of you? Is there anything that separates the two of you, or it's going to be category? All of you are going to mix?
Okay, according to my school, day section and the boarding section, we mix up during time for class. Time for break, yeah, we mix up. So I really don't know how we are going to handle it. But for candidate classes, when you reach a candidate class, in third term, that's when they stop you from coming from. They start school. But for second term, I'm not sure the way they will handle it. But what I consulted, my friend who's a day scholar, she was like, even when they had just told us COVID was in place, when they used to enter gate, because as you don't reach the gate side, when you enter gate, you wash your hands, sanitize, they check your temperature, the school nurse, and you enter. That one was already in place. But at this time, I'm not so certain, because most of the teachers who were handling that are not coming back, because they don't teach candidate classes. They teach those other lower classes. Yeah.
Then do you think your sick bay will be able? I believe you've ever been in your sick bay, that the sick bay for the school, you know how it looks like. Will it be able to handle everyone who would be having any sign or symptom of COVID?
In secondary school, there's a problem of because when you don't want to learn. That is true. So, our nurse, I don't think she'll handle everyone. Our sick bay, first of all, let me say, it accommodates 8 patients.
8.
Yeah. So when you're so sick, they refer you to the hospital. So if you don't want to learn, you use it as an excuse to stay in the sick bay. Now for this time, it is COVID. That place is it's not well, let me say, it's not well ventilated, because it has the wire meshes inside it. So I don't think there will be any social distancing there, because everyone sits there and Kubeka walls from there.
Okay.
So
then, Mr. Waida, is it going to be, which time is it going to be? Which time of the year is it going to be? Is it going to be first term, second term, or third term?
According to the current calendar, I'm trying to see around social media and perhaps the various circulars from the ministry, it's going to be second term.
And when is third term?
Third term is going to begin around January 11th.
January 11th. And second term is ending?
Second term is ending 18th December.
So we are starting up to December 18th.
Yes.
So how is it, how, like if these candidates come in, assuming you are the teacher, we like, I believe you guys have been having different meetings in that you plan for this term of second term. How, like, what have
started the meetings yet?
Because they, like you guys are opening up very soon. Because my worry was if teachers are there, you guys need to be trained.
Yes,
How
it's
are
true.
have you been trained? Have you been given information about COVID, or you're just going to wait for that day for you to enter class and start teaching?
You see, just like students, most of this information gets us by surprise. You get it? We are not involved in this. At a point in time, we are going to receive calls. Excuse me, sir, where are you? Term is resuming. You get it?
Yeah.
You're looking at some teachers who have not been paid from March, and you're calling. The administrators even fear calling them. That you know what, we are going to begin to work. Please hurry up. We have a meeting tomorrow. A teacher will tell you, I don't even have transport to come. So now when you talk about issues of training, yes, they are going to be trained, but a lot is needed here. Teachers want to come back to work because they're actually suffering, let me say.
That's very true.
Teachers are really suffering. So the trainings have to be there because they have to train them to be trainers of the students.
Definitely. And also students need to be trained.
Students need to be trained.
Like they are leaders.
They are leaders themselves. Every student has to be, because this thing is a matter of life, and life is not for only a chosen few. It's for everyone. So we are waiting for that moment when teachers will be called up, because I don't think there is a school that has called up its teachers yet. Since it was more of a surprise, we did not know when. The teachers are also not certain with the administrators. The president might wake up one morning and say, you know what, we made a mistake. Let us try. The scientists have said we need to sit down and again have something to say about COVID. Or maybe we are going to reopen schools for all students. So it's still pending.
But
we are not yet certain.
I don't say certain. But it was a directive from the president that they are opening on 15th, which is going to be a Thursday of October.
Yes, it was the same directive of the president.
So are you guys opening on 15th, or you are going to open on 20th?
I don't think there is a school that will open on 15th. 15th may be to call in teachers to come and prepare lesson plans and so on and so forth. But for students, trust me, other parents even fear to take their students to school.
Yeah.
Others will report after 2 weeks.
Why?
Yeah.
That there is a fear. One, tuition.
That's the first fear.
Others paid school fees. And a day after, the president announced schools were to break off. You get it? Others have used the money for some other thing. You know, this thing came up wrap. No one knew schools were to be opened on 15th. Parents had not even planned. That is one thing. Teachers themselves, others have moved on like students.
Yeah.
Others have gotten other occupations.
Very true.
And calling him to say, you know what, sir, you have to come and give us 4 days. Someone is saying, no, I have 2 days. The other 3 days I'm in a market vending cassava. People have tried to come up with various issues to do other than this. So it's just there.
So everyone is talking about opening of schools. Nobody is talking about testing of students or testing of teachers.
That one was talked by the minister of health, Honorable Ruth Ache, that they do not have money to test for every student, so they are going back at school on their own risk. So that's why my friend was like, I'm not coming back to school until when Corona is done. She'll sit next year.
And she's not coming back to school.
So it means
Corona is not
here to
going
stay.
anywhere.
no, until when like she feels it is actually her parents who decided for her. So they sat her down and they discussed it with her. They're like, you cannot go back in this situation because her dad is a medic, and was like, the deaths are increasing. And her health, since she's at a high risk, they're like, for you go back next year and sit for your exams with the students of next year. So it's automatic. Some students are not coming back, and some of our teachers have moved on. I wish them success. But some teachers have become politicians.
I want to interrupt you. We are all focusing on going back, but we are not looking at someone's mental capacity on how to handle COVID. I remember when COVID had just come, and then and you tell someone that our neighbor maybe was taken because they have COVID. It built stigma and discrimination. So imagine you are in this mass of students, of pupils, of candidates, and then one of them gets COVID. What will happen? The whole school will just freak out. Everyone will be like, I wish I never came back. I wish. People will start wishing. So we also have to look at it like me as a finalist. If my mind is not mentally there to handle COVID at school, then I will not have to go back. And even our parents, some of our parents have, or they already have their own illnesses. So you coming back home and then you tell your parent, or they call the parent, hello, Vicky has been found with COVID. Some parents will just freak out. They will just even die. Pressure zibakubira wali because you have COVID. So I think the best thing, okay, going back to school is good. I also want to finish and graduate. But then again, when I look at my mental health, I'm a very
get scared.
Yes,
very
I get
fast. Everything
scared
scares
quickly, and
you.
I have phobia. So now going to school, it's freaking me out because I know my friends who are at campus. They will come, someone from Boise has many COVID cases. Me, I stay in Luzira, we don't have.
You
Someone
had one.
stays in Nakawa, there are very many. I'm going to look at them like, you never Boise in Nakawa.
Sikyali wange
Sikyali wange nnyo kati mbudde wa COVID. So I think even the mental capability of the person of how to handle COVID at the university is also a big deal.
I hear university, like different schools are going to be putting up these talking posters that you wash your hands, do this, like you should social distance. Or the only thing which I'm scared of, you guys use taxis, borders, and so other means of transport. So if this person is coming from Boise, like you said, somebody who's coming from Luzira, somebody who's coming from Kamocha, are going to use different taxis. So you don't know who your neighbor is. We don't, because the research has not yet showed us that you can get COVID via sweats. They have not yet showed us that you can get COVID via urine, because we don't know if somebody is affected by COVID, if you go and urinate there, whether your fellow human can also get COVID. No, there's no research about that, because this is trying to ask different doctors, like if COVID is just got through salivas and so that, can it be caught via sweats? And also because I think sweats you can, because they said no hugging, no handshakes, and urine is not yet confirmed. So that's the thing I'm looking at. What do you think of your school? Can they be able to monitor each and every student who comes into a school, like temperature gun, like take the temperature of the person? Then also the lecturers are going to be tested for COVID before coming in school or not? Because right now the schools would have already told you what you guys are supposed to go with or what you guys are supposed to have.
I think the Ministry of Health talked about that since they don't have money to facilitate all the universities and schools, then the students and the lecturers and the teachers have to, they have to have, is it a certificate of something, is it 72 hours before entering the campus.
The campus.
But then also I think like we as the university, we have guild councils. So the university can try to use the guild councils to fundraise maybe small income. We have donors, we have small projects that we do at universities. We have even students who are capable. There are some students who fund the whole guild campaign. So I think they can try to mobilize funds and see how the lecturers can get tested for what? For COVID. And also the students.
You mean the school can do that, to pay for the lecturers?
First, the school, right now we have all been in this crisis and the school hasn't been having funds. Maybe even the funds they had, they already used them up to cater for their lecturers' home needs and all that. But through the guild councils, through the lecturers themselves as the financially capable students, we can fundraise and we see how to get tested. Maybe in those days that we'll be attending the campus.
Okay. Then, Mr. Wider, are you teachers going to be tested, or is it the school who is going to pay for you, like the school administration, or you are going to pay for yourselves? Because I heard that ministry came out and said to any teacher who is going to be attending to any student is supposed to be tested for COVID. You go with the certificate, then you enter the class.
Yeah.
That is something big to even discuss. In reality, teachers are not going to be tested.
Why?
We have to be honest. All they are going to do is use the temperature guns to try and see the temperatures. But look at certain schools where teachers are earning over 200,000. Testing is 240,000, 250,000. It's going to be difficult. And let us try and look at after how long? Are they going to test every week or after hours? Because if every test is at 240,000, try and look at a teacher. How many tests are you going to have in the whole term, and how much do you earn? You get it? Look at even the students. Because like a teacher who comes from out, there is a day scholar who comes from out. Is the day scholar going to be tested? Every week he's supposed to come to school? It is very difficult. Some of these things are going to be left in the hands of God.
And
prayers
someone's
here.
self-protection.
And she talked about students trying to sponsor testing of lecturers. Up to when? Are you going to sponsor them for the whole semester, even the other semester? So this is something I'm calling the new normal. We are supposed to live with it. You get it? Some of the diseases we hear about, like malaria, came like COVID. I know a time will come where we shall be telling our kids that once upon a time there was COVID-19 in the world. You get
Like
it?
the Spanish flu.
The Spanish flu. So sometimes things are theoretical. It's true. That is very true. Social distancing, it's going to be difficult in schools. You get it? Students are not going to have that social distancing. It's like you want to discuss a topic for a student and you're like, please, you have to be the other side I'm discussing. Will the student get what you're telling her? He's supposed to be close to you there. So these things are they are theoretical. We need to look at the practical aspect of it.
Here every teacher is supposed to be in one school. How practical is it? Because teachers aren't from different schools so that they can survive.
A teacher being in one school could be easy if the money was there. We are all looking for money. But they are paying peanuts. You get it? If I'm supposed to teach at your school for 2 days, you're not going to stop me from going to the other school in the other days. You're not going to monitor my movements. I'll come give you your time, teach your students, run away, you'll see me back the other week. You get it? No one can stop a teacher from teaching more than one school. Others will teach 4 schools in this period.
Sure.
They are looking for money. They have not been paid for 6 months. You can't stay.
They are going to do whatever it takes so that they get some money. As we are winding up, Martha, what have you been for the 6 months? What have you been missing from school? For the 6 months we've been at school, at home.
What I've been missing from school. Okay, I used to miss my friends. That is the first thing, and I'm so open. I used to miss my friends, my staff that I chill at school, and then I used to miss some teachers, those who used to explain to me and I really understand, and I don't have to go back and dig down in the book. Yeah, I was like, why is that teacher coming back? Because in our group discussions, those teachers have not been single. We have not seen them on board until now.
Oh, they sold the phone.
You don't have data.
No, the school actually was providing data for those teachers. For that one.
For how long? Has it been sustainable for the 6 months?
Yeah. Until
Or the group,
No, okay, they
the
stopped.
group has been for only students now to discuss. Like you
They
guys
stopped.
whatever you want.
They stopped paying our teachers. Okay, what I recall, according to the message I received on my phone, our teachers stopped receiving salary. in May. They pushed until that time in May. So from June, July, September, they have been receiving tokens of appreciation. You understand? So if they give you that money, can you waste it on that?
So the school group, WhatsApp groups became for...
No, even if
They became dormant.
Even if I have not been paid, come on, that is something small.
including OTT. If you think about it. Yes, Vicky, what have you been missing for the 6 months you have been home?
Maybe the school canteens, the university canteen. Yeah, those people cook nice food. So
Sure.
yeah, that's what I miss. And the lecturers, some of the lecturers, I was missing them. But we have social media, so you don't overmiss the lecturers and your friends because you talk to them on phone. But yeah, the food, I miss the Ndeje Ugaro. Yeah. I miss the Chikomando. Yeah.
Then,
Like, you wait.
if for the time you guys have been in school, nowadays there's no making cocoons like those groups you guys used to make. I believe even right now there's no discussion groups. How are you guys going to be doing it? Because trust me, like using it on social media or using Facebook or WhatsApp, it's going to be a little bit hard. Those WhatsApp groups that you guys have been creating, it's hard for you guys to discuss within the WhatsApp groups because it's hard for you to discuss from home. How you guys? What solution do you have? You as students.
I think we will try to social distance.
You'll try.
Because
Try.
yeah, we will try to social distance because this time everyone has missed the other in the group. I don't think we
Physically.
will do the virtual Zoom, what those things have been costly, but we will try to social distance.
You'll try, but
Yeah.
you can't fight it.
You cannot fight
Hugging your body.
hugging your body and getting a Rolex from your body was not wash their hands. So yeah, we'll just try.
So as we are summarizing, what will be your last word, Mr. Waida, as we are winding up?
Viewers and everyone, COVID is here to stay. Let us try and embrace the new normal. Let us try and follow guidelines of the government. Let us try and follow the SOPs that have been set for us. We need to accept this. We need to embrace that this is the way things have turned to. Get it? The Bible is telling us that when God said that when I shut up heaven and there is no, and there are a lot of diseases, there is a pandemic, and then you realize that you have to turn back to me, then seek my mercy, I will hear from heaven and forgive your sins and heal the land. Let us keep praying as we are following the guidelines that have been set before us, because this is a new normal. Schools are going to be open, students will go back to school, others will fall sick, they will be treated. This is the new world. Thank you very much.
Yes, Martha.
My last words, okay, they are not actually the last. Let me talk the truth. You people, during this COVID, I lost a classmate, a discussion mate, a friend. She used to get me tea. You know, that person, she was so close to me. So she passed away during this COVID time. So it's going to be so hard when we go back to school. Actually, that's my one reason why I don't want to go back to school, because of those memories. And another thing, okay, they're telling us to go back to school, but then people have been facing those problems of depression now without the disease. Some people just stigmatize you at school and be like, I feel like killing myself, what. Now imagine you have the disease, corona. Then you cure. That thing is going to remain there. That girl, if you
I thought Corona was not there. Not until I received some news. There was a relative who is at Navoli right now.
that thing is going to, it is going to affect our studies and discussions as students. If in case they get a case with a student, that has everyone